Hello everybody, I'm Beetwolf and welcome to our first episode of Dark Souls PvP. Now this is actually an interesting one. It's actually something that I've wanted to do for quite a while right now. So as we've got the PvP going on screen here, just a few invasions, I will discuss it a little bit. It's actually my first time ever doing any kind of post-commentary. The first time it's not live, which may actually sound easier, but I'm not used to it at all. You know, it's like I say, it's my first time. It's rather interesting as far as that's concerned. A new experience for myself here. But I've always kind of wanted to do something to do with PvP, in addition to the usual playthrough stuff, of course. And now I've finally got around to doing it. Decided to, you know, make a build here and give it a go. So I guess without, you know, rambling on about that forever, we can just get into the gameplay here. Now, the character that I'm using here, he's actually not complete. This was recorded. In fact, all these playthroughs were recorded before we reach our final destination, as far as the level's concerned. I do aim to take him up to around about 110, 115, 120, something in that kind of region at least. But this is kind of an in-progress thing, so I think here... where are we? I think we're around soul level... between 60 and 70 at least, I'm sure. And, you know, he's rocking the buckler there as well. Should also be stated that none of the gear's actually maxed out. We're rocking Elite Knight chest piece, gauntlets, and leggings, which is granting us a total of 38 poise, which is also not a lot. So, I guess I'm kind of limiting myself as far as that's concerned to a certain degree, but I do like the challenge. I have had some OP builds in the past, of course, that I have rocked off camera doing PvP, but not all the time. You know, sometimes it's nice to mix things up a little bit, do something a bit different. And then again, in fact, I guess it's not too different because I've had a lot of builds like this as well, but you get the idea. I like the challenge of, you know, not just absolutely stacking poise through the roof, you know, because it somewhat keeps you on your toes as far as the toggle escape's concerned. And we do show off a couple of those in this series of videos and invasions here as well. Though granted, I'm not the best at it. It's been a while since I've done PvP, so I'm getting back used to things as far as that's concerned. But with more practice and more play, I should be a little bit more consistent as far as getting the toggle escapes is concerned. But regardless, that's pretty much that side of the build here. And in addition to that, we've got the buckler. I do love the buckler, not just for the extra frames for the parries, but I just personally love the way the shield looks. It's simple, it's plain, it fits with the Elite Knight armor, you know, classic set. The way it just fits over your hand, I really like the way it looks. And we're combining that in the other hand with a claymore and a regular rapier as well. And that's pretty much the build, to be honest, guys. We probably will end up taking this guy to 2840. That being 28 strength, 40 dex. And we'll see how that goes. Right now we are in Ulysseal, in the entrance to the township here as well. Battling a dude with his big old Black Knight greatsword, rocking the Mask of the Mother at the same time. That was nice. I love the combinations of the Claymore, actually. It's one of my... In fact, it may even be my absolute favourite PvP weapon for Dark Souls 1. I love the moveset, its versatility, the range is good, the base damage is pretty nice. Quality scaling, which, you know, is good for me. I'm a big fan of the quality builds in general, to be honest with you. And there's just a lot of versatility there, and the reason I combine that with the repair is due to the fact that... You know, it's nice to change up the pace of a fight. You can catch someone off guard by pulling that out real quick and then, you know, poking them in the face. And you do see there, we actually do... Oh, we invade this guy twice here. And there he goes with a, well, what is it? You gotta love it, right? I'll give him a bow. The last fight was pretty good. But you do see, I will include some losses in here as well. You know, there's no point pretending to anyone, making people think that you never lose a fight, right? So... you might as well just throw your losses in there as well, accept the person beat you, and then move on. I'm not really the kind of person to get salty about it, so I feel like that's certainly a good character quality to have when it comes to Dark Souls PvP for sure, so thankfully I'm quite patient in that regard. And that's that. It's really cool stuff. You see me spamming on the escape there, trying to get out, but I was a little bit too slow. In fact, I can't remember if he beats me this time as well. He might tighten me up again here. Oh, we did stagger him there with the rapier, which is nice. He's going for the rolling attack with the two-handed greatsword. And you see I have switched up the fight to be a little bit more patient here, a little bit slower, and a little bit more guarded when I pull out the buckler there, and, well, I've got the buckler, but when I pull out the rapier and just poke at him, you know, slowing the pace down a little bit of the fight just to try and, you know, understand the direction it's going, and at that point I'm quite far behind on HP, so I wanted to, you know, benefit from that a little bit. But there we go, he tightens me up again there. Well played, dude. GG's. Gives me a nice gesture there as well. And you will notice in this video, we do actually change locations again. And despite not decided what the final title of the video will be, I think I'll end up calling it the Darkwraith of Lordran, due to the fact that in this video, we will actually be invading quite a few places. It's not the most varied, you know, set of environments, but, you know, we do mix in, I think there's 4 different places. We've got Elysial here. We end up in the forest later. In addition to that, I think we've got 1 in Sense Fortress and 1 or 2 in Izalith as well, which is cool. And I quite like to do that, to be totally honest with you. It really does mix things up. Of course, Elysial and the forest being the most common places that people like to do the PvP in. Myself included, to be honest. The forest was always my favourite Darkroot garden, when I'm talking about the forest, of course. But I do feel like it is nice to mix it up and give some different environmental action too. And you see me there just wailing on the Phantom at the same time as the host here too. You know what? Well done to that guy. Good parry. Not quite sure why he didn't pull out his weapon for that though, but fair plays. And we do see there as well that the dude that we vanquished was actually the guy that beat us wearing the Mask of the Mother. But yeah, going back to my original point there, keeping it fresh, mixing up the environment, because I've always kind of done that as well, despite Darkroot Garden being my favourite. Mixing the environment up. Keeps things fresh and includes a you know, a different kind of player base sometimes, those that aren't necessarily looking for PvP, and things like that. And I guess that will kind of wrap around nicely and segue on to my next point, which is, you see there, in the fight, this dude was already fighting a Phantom. Now, some people, it depends on the player, I guess. Some people may not like that, some people will, but I generally tend to mix things up when it comes to that kind of stuff. Sometimes I'll just attack on sight, but sometimes I'll be a little bit more patient, let the battle, you know, take its course first of all, and then I'll jump in and 1v1 the guy afterwards, whoever's left standing, that is. But you've got to remember, we are a Darkwraith and it is a random invasion. This ain't a fight club. You don't see any red signs down, people getting summoned like that, and, you know, having organised fights, in which case, I'd hold my hands up and say, fair enough, I'll play by those rules if we're in a fight club. But if you're invading, you might as well invade like an invader. Going back to the original roots, way back when Dark Souls 1 first came out, that is actually how FromSoft intended the game to be played. The PvP was not meant to be fair to begin with. It was meant to be, you're invaded by this bad dude, he's a Darkwraith, he's a bad guy, he's role-playing, deal with what he's giving you. You know, that's the general thing there. And I know there is some Honor folks out there, and occasionally I can get on board with that. I tend to sit in the middle of the road as far as all that's concerned. I can be honourable sometimes, but depending on my mood set / how I'm feeling, I will just get in there to the fight and, you know, wail on whoever's in there. And the perfect example of that has already been given, I suppose, because I attacked my fellow Darkwraith there as well. And I kind of like how that fits in with the somewhat lore applications and general personality surrounding the Covenant, with the fact that it's kind of a bit sadistic. It's ruled by one of the ancient serpents in Karth, and you can just do what you want. It's every man for himself, kill whatever moves you attack it. I kind of like how the Darkwraith Covenant fits along with that. And we do get a nice little double kill there as well. I thought it was really nice to include that one due to the fact that I guess it's somewhat rare that you do get that kind of occasion where you're able to, you know, trade off and kill each other in the same blow there. Really nice. And thus begins a new summon. Or invasion. And now this guy takes me for a ride, I'll tell you that. Just watch it where this guy leads us. It's all over the place. And you see, I did actually have to start the invasion midway through here. I mean, it wasn't midway through, it was only like a few seconds after I'd invaded and I'd seen the guy, and then I realised I hadn't clicked record, so I pressed that real quick and, you know, we got into it. And you see this guy here is just leading me through. I'm liking the Souls fashion though, he's doing a good job of that, that's for sure. And we capitalise on the plunge there, followed by another one to destroy our Poor, poor victim. And then I dropped the well, what is it? That was just for taking me for a run. It can be fun sometimes, so I kind of like it when people lead me through the level sometimes. Though it does make me a little scared that they're actually going to go in the boss room. But if I'm an invader, I do sometimes like to pull a host through the level too, as it is quite fun to do. And I think, yeah, we see our target down there now, running through all the dinosaurs. We try and get a fancy plunge on here, and we do actually get it as well. I think we did a real good job tightening that up, managing to land the plunge from such a great height, having to lead our descent there on the way down. So you do see, this is the first invasion of Izalith in this video. I think there's only one more in Izalith after this, and then there's a bunch in the forest. Some quicker fights, some slower fights, some one-on-ones, wins, losses. You know, I tried to keep it quite varied. And you see here, that was very close, and I made a massive mistake there, actually, in the fact that I wasn't paying attention to the fact that I was actually not rocking the ring to protect me from lava. You see, he's teasing me a little bit there now because he knew that I was in trouble the second I ran into the lava there. But I think I do have it in my inventory here. I believe I equip it in just a moment. He's rolling back. He knows he's getting to safety there now because he still thinks I've not got the ring on, but there we go. Not the red tear stone, that was the wrong one. There we go, we do equip the correct ring, and I believe here we engage again because we're no longer worried about the lava damage. I kind of thought that parry should have worked. I thought that as I was recording it, but, you know, once again, like I said a little earlier on, I've not PvP'd in Dark Souls for a good while, actually. It must have been a couple of years, to be totally honest with you. So once again, I am still getting back used to the timings of some things, you know. Then again, we do actually land a few parries in these set of clips, so that is pretty nice. But I do definitely want to get a little bit more consistent with them again, if possible, because I used to be pretty decent with them in the past, which is kind of nice. And here we go. Into the next one. Wenjin. Back in Izalith. Here we are, here's our target. He's wearing full havels by the looks of it. All poised through the roof there. You see our rapier not doing too much damage. With the running little double tag there, it was only like 108 damage, which isn't great, but it can keep the tankier guys like this on the feet a little bit in terms of the way that, you know, we're very quick and nimble the way we move. And they're a little bit more sluggish as far as that's concerned. There we go, swinging his Zweihander. He's baiting us from range a little bit to come in. And I believe there, if we would have gone in, he would have clicked for the backhand to pull the Zweihander back across. In which case he would have been able to probably, you know, at least stun us once. It wouldn't have killed us by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly stun us once. And you see there, I do enjoy that, the lava kick. Sweet little detail to pay attention to if you're wearing that ring. When you kick, it will actually deal a little bit of fire damage. That actually wasn't intentional. I forgot to switch back to my Halva Havels ring for that invasion right there. Oh, and here we go. We've got some good ones in here, I think. Invaded the world of Dad. Into the forest we go. And we do see, I believe it's a couple of gankers this time. And yeah, that's right. In fact, in this video, I believe there's a couple of sets of gankers. One group of which I should say, is we invaded them quite a couple of times, to be honest. And I did include a few clips of them here in this video. There we go. Tighten up the Phantom, in addition to the host. And of course, we end up pressuring the blue there as well. Trying to tighten him up as well. As you see, he's playing his role correctly too. He's a forest protector. You know, he's guarding the forest, so fair enough if he attacks us on site as well. And we're Darkwraith, there you go. You see us team up there ready to kill him, but sadly the invasion ends once the host is gone. Yeah, it's not these two. I think it's the gankers that I'm thinking of are really tanky. I think they're both wearing full giants, full-on giant dads, and you guys will see them soon. These guys keeping it a little bit fresh though, a little bit more unique, a little bit different. I've always liked the way the gargoyle helm appears. Quite a nice helmet. I used to use that quite a bit back in the day. Not necessarily on PvP builds, but just in general. And of course we've got our guy there somewhat role-playing, as a Silver Knight. He's got the full set there. And you see once again how versatile the Claymore can be. It's beautiful. Didn't quite work that time, but you can see with its big sweeping motions, varying moves that it's got like that, it is capable to hit multiple targets at once, which is one of the other reasons why I actually really like it for the Forest, or just facing gankers in general in PvP. Alrighty. They're backing me up a little bit here. I am getting slightly low on HP, but that's okay. Yeah, and going back as well to a little bit of the conversation we had near the start of the video, about the honor stuff, I will sometimes, you know, you will see me in this video having attacked a couple of enemies on sight. And do a lander parry here? No, I didn't. He tightened me up. Fair play, fair play. Yeah, I will attack the host on sight sometimes without bowing. And in general, that's just to, you know, somewhat teach them a lesson. Because, and not teach them a lesson in a bad way, I'm not trying to be rude there or high and mighty, I'm just saying, you know, not everybody in Dark Souls is there to bow and be honourable, so I was just replacing that in their mind by making them think, look, you know, not everyone's going to bow, so just bear that in mind. So I occasionally will do that. Like I said, it's something that generally depends. Sometimes I'll attack on sight, sometimes I'll bow back, as you'll see soon as well. I do drop 1 or 2 bows to 1 or 2 other players here. It just depends. It depends how I'm feeling, you know. There's no set rule set, I suppose, as far as invading's concerned. It's generally whatever you want. That's the whole idea of it, really, right? Just get that host killed. But yeah, that's that. I just wanted to kind of clarify it, at least, so you understand where I was coming from. And of course, the same can be said for the healing. I will never heal in a fight club, of course, because that is not the point. But during PvP, a random invasion, I don't mind healing at all because, you know, everybody else does it anyway. It's one of those things. There we go, invading. Catfish. I think this might be the gankers, the 2 dudes. If I remember correctly, at least. Could be wrong, we'll wait and see, though. And I guess, you know, I do have another point to make there regarding the whole Honor Brigade system. There's stealing that word from Martyr's Brigade, by the way, of course. But, yeah, I guess I might sound a little bit hypocritical when it comes to what I've just said, as I did say that somewhat anything goes in, you know, random invasions, and that's true, though I've never been one to use the Hornet Ring personally. I can't relate to that, at least in a 1v1 fight. I think I do end up using it. Oh no, not in this video, I don't think. I think that's in another clip that I've not included in this video, but I may include in the next video after this. I do end up using the Hornet Ring when I'm fighting 2 dudes at once. And in fact, the 2 dudes that I'm thinking of, I think they're the gankers that I originally thought were in this video, but I think they're in the episode 2 that I'm currently putting together at the moment as well. So disregard what I said about the seeing the same gankers again and again. I don't think that's in this one. But yeah, the Hornet Ring, I'm not a fan. I understand the idea behind it, of course, but you know, I've personally never been one to use it. Never really. Except if rarely, like sometimes I don't even do it when my back's to the wall and I'm fighting multiple opponents at once on my own. It's just not really been my thing, and like I say, certainly not in a one-on-one fight. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. You know, because like I said, I want to limit myself to a certain degree. I want some more interesting fights. I don't want it to be over in just a second, because I don't think that would make for as good viewing. And, you know, like I said, I do like to challenge myself, which is why, of course, here I'm not using the Hornet Ring. I'm not stacking massive poise. I'm not using crazy crystal magic buffs or dark moonblade or sunlight blade. My armor's not fully upgraded, my weapons aren't fully upgraded. You know, there's a list of things, of course, so I feel like playing like that will make for more interesting fights. Though in the future, of course, we will max our weapon and max our armor, but you get the idea. We're not using anything like Tranquil Walk of Peace or something like that that's considered to be rather, you know, OP and dishonorable, you know? So that's just my take on it, at least. That's just a bit of info that I wanted to drop there. But anyway, into this fight. Quite an interesting one. It's a 2v2. I have a fellow Darkwraith here with me as well, fellow invader. We decide to take on the Phantom. He takes the host. He's rocking the Black Knight Halberd. May actually end up doing 1 or 2 videos using that weapon in the future as well. I do like that, and it's been a very long time since I've given it a go, so I would very much like to play around with that again. You see there, though, we do actually get, or our Phantom friend gets tightened up, so now we're dealing with the 2v1 situation, as you do. It happens. There you go. That's the toggle escape I'm talking about. And again, really nice performance there. Backstab this dude. We lined up the parry to prepare for that, but then had to block because we missed it. Good kill onto the Phantom, and then tightening up the host with a backstab. He's not dead just yet. He will reach his feet again with his his giant dad build. You know, it's each to their own, right? Everybody likes the different, you know, play styles and armor sets and whatnot. No, he's not rocking the grass. Oh, he is the grass crest shield. I thought it was the Silver Knight shield for a mere moment there. Nevertheless, it does look to be full giant dad. Pretty much, at least. I'm not sure if anything's chaos there, if he's got a chaos rapier ready for me or what, but nevertheless, he's a giant dad. He's got the advantage with his gear, but there we go. We catch him out with a poke, and we tighten him up. And that'll be the last invasion, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.